You know what? This leaves me with the lesson of the day. One thing that I've learned in life, and one thing my dad would always tell me, consistency is key. What's good, everybody? We're back with another episode of Lessons Learned. And man, have life been journeying, it's been journeying. And I just want to say to my people, I apologize for not being consistent. And you know what? This leaves me with the lesson of the day. One thing that I've learned in life, and one thing my dad would always tell me, consistency is key. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. And a lot of times we're going through life, and because life is lifing, or things may not be feeling like how we think they should be going, or it looks, or whatever, we begin to stop in the midst of life's journey, and we begin to stop in our purpose. We begin to stop in our gifts. We begin to stop in our callings. We begin to stop in our business. We begin to stop in the things that we're meant to just keep pushing through. Just because things in life come at us does not give us room to stop our purpose. Does it give us time to reflect real quick on where we're at? Yes, but a lot of times we want things out of life, and we're trying to get to goals in life, but if there's no consistency to getting to that goal, or getting to where you're trying to get to in life, there is no point of even doing it. And so a lot of times we become, I want to say, habitual. Is that the right? I hope that didn't come off too harsh, but a habitual. I want to say it right, but that's when we become habitual people that do not manage our time well. We don't manage the things that God has blessed us with well. And so one big thing in life is you have to be consistent. Just like with this very podcast that we've started, this journey that I've started with you guys, and I've asked you to start with me on, I haven't been consistent in what I was supposed to be doing. And there is no excuse for that. Only thing I can do is just keep going, and I can learn from this. What I talked about in the life lessons from the first episode. You got to learn from life. What are you learning? What are you learning? I learned that no matter what punch comes in my life, I got to keep going. I got to keep walking. I got to keep going hard for the things that I've already started. And there is no room for me to stop, but I can be better in life in managing my time, managing and balancing my work life and my home life, managing a lot of different things that go on in your life. And there's consistency. Not only, a lot of times we look at consistency only in the workplace, or we look at consistency only when it matters for performance, but there's consistency that requires you to be consistent as a husband, as a father, as a mother, as a wife, whatever. We have to be consistent in those things. Just the way we started and we're building together, you always have to be consistent into learning and building with those people in your lives. And it's important to never, never, never forget to be consistent with the dates, to be consistent with the I love yous, with the I love yous, to be consistent with the A, whatever it is that, motivates that person that you love, or that motivates that person that you care about. You got to be consistent with that too as well. And life has really, 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 really have a way of teaching you that. And I thank God for the challenges in life, because now there was a point in my life that when challenges came, sometimes, not all the time, but when certain challenges came, I would just run from it. I just fall back from it. Now being the age I am and having more wisdom in life, it's now allowed me to become more aware of me, taking those times to how can I be better, not looking at the other person, but looking at me, being consistent in looking at who I am as an individual, consistent in looking at who I am as a husband, consistent with who I am as a father, consistent with who I am as a son, as a brother, or as a friend, and being consistent with being better. And so a lot of times now that I have wisdom in life, I was being so consistent in just work, that now I've had to train my mind to be consistent within my personal life and have a balance with that. And sometimes, yeah, we can say it's a challenge and we can run from the challenge. And sometimes you can say, hey, I don't want to do this. But in my life, I think that is the best time to say, hey, you know what? Put your big boy pants on and let's get to work. And it reminds me of one time when we were growing up, uh, we had Hurricane Katrina had hit, and right after that, Hurricane Rita hit. And man, it was trees, it was different things, a lot of stuff in the yard. And at the end of the day, my dad was like, "Hey, let's go and get it up. Let's clean it up." We put them boots on, we put everything on, and we just get to work. And though challenges come, those storms may come, hey, are you gonna just look at the storm or look at the challenge or look at whatever you're going through that you may have to, that requires you to be consistent and say, you know what, I'm gonna fall back from it. You know what? Nah, I'm good. Are you gonna go towards it? Are you going to find out how you as an individual can be better? And I think that's the beautiful thing in life is not necessarily the material things that we get out of it, not necessarily what you accomplish, but who you become as an individual when it's all said and done. Are you walking in light? Are you walking in darkness? Are you walking in love? Or are you walking in hate? Are you walking in unity? Are you walking in division? What are you consistent in? Consistency just is a requirement, not just in your business life, but in your personal life. And I appreciate life right now for teaching me that. And even in these moments when I don't have my father, when I don't have that God here, I know I can go to my Heavenly Father and ask. And though sometimes you want to hear that voice, and sometimes it gets so hard, it feels lonely, it feels like, dang, I want to talk to somebody, but who's going to understand me the way this person understands me? Understand that God understands you. So if you don't have anybody else to run to, nobody to talk to, hey, you have God to run to. You have God to talk to. Be consistent into talking with him. Be consistent in walking with him. Be consistent with telling him how you feel. Be consistent in coming in spirit and in truth. And so consistency, again, is even deeper than just the physical relationship. Our relationship with Christ, our relationship with him, not just in on a Sunday, not just in on a Wednesday, but every day. Consistency is something that we're going to have to give in everything that we do. You're going to have to be consistent in everything that you do in life in order for you to really become the person that God is really calling you to be. In the moment that you run away from the challenge versus facing the challenge and hurdling over the challenge and looking back at the challenge and realizing, you know what, it really wasn't that hard, it really wasn't that big. That mountain really wasn't as tall as I thought it was, because I done climbed it and now I'm on top and I can really see it's really not that tall. Yeah, I may be high up, but it's really not that tall. But it's just about how much I want it. How much do I want? Not just in business, not just in the things out of life, but what do I want in burnt balance with my marriage? What do I want with my kids? What do I want with my friends? What do I want with that? What at the end of the day, how can I be consistently great and show up for those individuals? And that's what life has taught me now. Consistency is more than just work. Consistency is in everything. So, if I can leave you with a life lesson, just don't be consistent within one thing in life or just your work life. Be consistent in all things in life. And most importantly, be consistent in your relationship with Christ. And I promise you, if you're consistent in that, everything else will fall in place. Hey, these are life lessons. Lessons learned with T Black, with Terrell Urquhart, whatever you want to call me. Look, make sure you stay tuned, and we out.